Hello students. So let's first discuss in this lecture about some of the concepts which we have already studied in the last lectures, and here we are going to discuss the unit basically. So we have discussed about the basic concepts, types of memory, speed, size, and cost, the memory hierarchy, locality of references, and cache memory and mapping functions we have already studied. We know about the replacement algorithm, we know about effective versus time and hit ratio, we know about the segmentation. Basically we have studied about segmentation and paging, we know about the paging also. So because some of the parts are here which we have already discussed, for example paging and segmentation, so we now can discuss about the virtual memory, that what is virtual memory. So here I will give you some assignment in which all the topics will be covered, and I have already discussed in the classes about these things. um, so in case of the virtual memory, the paging and the virtual and the segmentation process is used combinedly, and here you will see that how we are going to apply these things here. So in that case we will find that virtual memory basically provide illusion to user that all process are available in the main memory. So it is basically an illusion for the user. That illusion means that it seems that each and everything is in the hand of the user, and it is very fast in nature. So it is the user do not know that when the data is transferred from the logical address space or hard disk drive from to the main memory. So basically CPU interacts with some of the memory. For example, it interacts with the cache memory, it interacts with your main memory. Basically it interacts with these two things, and whenever there is a some of the data, when it is not getting in the main memory, then it has to fetch this data from the logical address space, or you can say hard disk drive. Okay, so now here is one of the example of implementation of the virtual memory. So here you can see that there is one logical address space. Here you can see that there is a one this is your logical address space, LAS, and this logical address space has some processes. For example, P1 process, P2 process, P3 process, and so on, right? So this process has some parts. For example, has some pages in terms of P0, P1, P2, and P3. Okay, now P0, P1, P like that. So every process has some of the pages. Fine. So now these pages are defined in that cases in the main memory. So now that is a structure of the main memory. Here you can see the structure of a main memory. So here you can see that we have operating system. Before in that case we have you can understand that there is a operating system. Some page 0 of P1, page 0 of P1 means P1, the process page 0 means this page 0, P0 of P1 process, right? Page table of P2. So now you can see that page table is also defined here, right? Page table of P1 is also defined here. So you no need to worry about that where the page table will be stored. So it is also stored in the main memory, and it is always interacted with the CPU. So you no need to discuss about that thing, that where the page table will be stored and how this will be executed, because CPU has some of the registers in the main memory with itself. Means you can say there are some general purpose registers. It can interact with the cache memory, it can interact with the main memory. So it just contains some real time data which it need to be executed, and this real time data which is it going to be executed is stored in the registers. Some data which is frequently used by the CPU is stored in the cache memory. Some data which is less than that of the cache is used is stored in the main memory. So some, we no need to say that we no need to store the whole hard disk drive in the main memory, because CPU knows that knows the pattern of the user, that how the user is going to interact with the computer. So CPU know that user mostly open the Microsoft Word in his computer. So what will it do? It will just fetch the data from the hard disk drive to the main memory in terms of pages and the segmentations. Okay, CPU knows that the user generally starts the music player, so it will fetch the data in the main memory whenever it is required. Okay, so that's how the CPU basically works. So here there are many algorithms, and where there are many things which are totally dedicated to the management of the data in the main memory and the hard disk drive. So we no need to worry about these things, we just need to find that how these things are going to be happen. So what virtual memory says, virtual memory basically provides a illusion to the user that whole hard drive is in the main memory. It just provides us that type of the illusion. So first of the case is here, that all the processes are in the local logical address space, and this is in the hard disk drive. Okay, so some part of this process, so because not all the parts are going to be accessed by the CPU at a time, only some part of the process is going to be stored by going to be accessed by the CPU. So some part of this process are stored in the main memory in terms of page. Okay, so for example, page 1, this page 1 is stored here in the in your 7. Okay, so now you can see that if a CPU need a process P1, and of process P1, the page number P1 is need to be accessed by the CPU. So first of the step, the circle points are steps. So step number 1, it will generate a P1 requirement of the P1 by using it's a logical address scheme, and then it will follow a page table of P1. Page table of P1 is here. Page table of P1 is here. It will follow a page table of P1, and here it will see that at what position the segments are stored. So here it will see that if it needs a P1 process, so it will require F7. So it is your file numbers. So file numbers, it will store, it will find the file number 7, and file number 7 is here, and it will go to this location, page 1 of P1. Okay, it will go to this position, and then it will access the required page basically. Okay, now suppose if this page is not available here, then what will it do? Then it will execute a trap signal, and this trap is basically a interrupt request, and this interrupt will go to the OS, and it will transfer the control from user to operating system. Okay, so now operating system, so it will now store the required data. It will generate a trap signal. Now after that trap signal, the operating system will access the hard disk drive or logical address space. Then it will put this P1 process from here to this position. Fine. Suppose that all the location of the main memory has been filled. So what will it do? It will do the swap in, swap out, as we have already discussed about the replacement algorithm. And using replacement algorithm, it will swap in and it will execute swap in and swap out data, or roll in and roll out data. We also say it roll out or swap out, or roll in or swap in. Okay, and then it will store the data at a desired location. So this is my virtual memory, and now you can see that if page demanded by the CPU is not present in the CPU in the main memory, then it is known as page fault. If a page fault occurs, then trap generated and the control switches to the operating system. In context of it is also known as context of switching. Okay. Whereas after trap check for the user authentication, if a user is valid, then operating system search in logical address space. Okay. So search in logical address space, P1 process of P1 will be updated in the main memory, and page table will also be updated. So after updation, so as you know that there are some things which are swap in and swap out. So after this changes in the main memory, the tables of the process are also updated. Okay. So there is effective memory access time, EMAT, and EMAT is equal to probability of probability of occurrence, means page fault service time. Okay. P multiplied by page fault service time plus 1 minus P main memory access time. Okay. So if my page is founded in the main memory, then I no need to be going in the main memory state, then only. So here you can see that you can find the memory access time from here, and you can find it. So you will find some P, which is a probability of occurrence, and the time of the service time, page fault service time, and main memory access time. So from here probability of page fault occurs. So P is your probability of page fault occurs. So thrashing and performance degrade if too much page fault occurs. Okay. So definitely when I am not going to have my data in the main memory, so definitely I have to find the data in the main from the hard disk drive, and it will be a great problem for us. So we have to smaller these problems for the successful completion of the techniques. Thank you for this lecture. If there is any problem, then you can ask us.